Hello, students. Today is Digits, Lesson 4-2, Part 3. So I'm going to show you about using this integer chips tool that you're going to use to do the next screen. And of course, I'm going to start you off on the next screen and ask you to finish it. But here's how this tool would be used.
In this video, you will learn about the addition mode of the integer chips tool. Using the addition mode, you can model and then solve addition problems with integer chips. In the workspace are two bins, one for each addend. You can add positive or negative integer chips to the addend bins by using the positive and negative chip buttons. You can view the value of the contents of the bin at any time by clicking the Show Bin Value button at the top of each bin.
So obviously, if you click the plus sign, it puts positive chips into either bin. Here I'm putting them into the left-hand bin, but there's also a right-hand bin. Click the negative ones. It lets me put negative chips into the bin. And each of these will be one. So a plus one, another plus one, another plus one, which will give you 3. Negative 1, which is where it shows you here the negative 1.
While open, the bin value shows.
Okay, and then over here it shows you a minus, which would give you negative 2. So a 3. The line kind of cuts off between which is the left and the right-hand side. So you have your plus 3 and minus 1. Over here is just a minus 2 for now.
Shows the value of each type of integer chip in the bin, but not the sum of different chips. When there are chips in both bins, the Model Sum button is active. You can only proceed to the Model Sum stage if the contents of an addend bin are a single integer, not an expression. If you click on the Model Sum button, and this is not true, you will receive an error message. Click OK in the error message to close it. Use the eraser to correct any addend bins that are not of the same integer chip type. To proceed to the next step, click the Model Sum button. The two addends from the previous screen are now located in a single bin representing the sum. To see the expression you modeled.
So in other words, after you, let me back them up a little bit here. So what they're saying is you should have only positives or negatives on one side, only positives or negatives on the other side. You won't put them together until you click this model sum, which then allows you to move them together. So once you have both sides of your integer chips set up, if you click model sum, it lets you put them together. So here we go again.
To proceed to the next step, click the Model Sum button. The two addends from the previous screen are now located in a single bin representing the sum. To see the expression you modeled in the previous stage, you can click on the Show Expression button. The question mark in the display means that you still need to simplify the sum of the chips in the bin by.
Okay, so it shows you that 3 is the 1, 2, 3 positive, plus minus 2, there's your minus 2.
Removing all zero pairs. Drag a chip on top of its opposite to create a zero pair.
So in other words, a zero pair, they're saying, means a plus and a minus cancel each other out. Just like we talked with additive inverse yesterday, a number and its opposite gives us 0, which is a zero pair. So a plus and a minus together are going to cancel out, make a 0. Plus and a minus are going to cancel out and make it 0. And you're going to see in a second, they're going to drag these zero pairs away to leave us with our final answer. So plus and a minus is a 0. We'll get rid of them.
The hammer button is available when there is a zero pair in the bin. To break a zero pair apart, click the hammer button and then click on the zero pair. The hammer button is available as long as there are zero pairs in the bin.
Most likely you won't be using that hammer tool. Once you set your zero pairs up, you probably won't have to hammer them apart. So I would say ignore that.
You can also disable the hammer by clicking the hammer button again. You can add zero pairs to the bin using the zero pair button. You can view the contents of the bin by clicking on the Show Bin Value button at the top of the bin. When any zero pairs are present in the sum bin, the Show Bin Value area displays a +0 term. To remove a zero pair from the sum bin, drag the zero pair into the zero pairs area at the right. Once you have removed all zero pairs, the expression display will display the final sum in place of the question mark.
Okay, so a couple extra things you didn't really need there. They added an extra 0 pair in that you didn't need. I'm going to show you a simple way to do this, which is on the next screen. Okay, so here they're going to show you a card game, 4 different people playing cards. And what your responsibility is going to be is to model what they did, what their results are for their game in 4 different ways using the integer chips. Okay, so let's take a look.
And I win!
No.
Already?
Let's add up the scores.
Okay, so what you're going to have to do is for Asa, Dan, Joy, and Kim, you're going to have to write down their turn 1 and turn 2 results. So for example, just like on paper, I wrote down -12 and 5 for Asa. For Dan, -15 and then -9. For Joy, 13 and then -21. And for Kim, -16 and 25. Because once we click on here, that data table is going to disappear and we're not going to be able to see it anymore. So write that down. Write down the Asa information, Dan's information, Joy's information, and Kim. I'm going to go through Asa's with you. And we're also going to look at Dan's. Your job is going to be to model Joy and Kim's. And you can also do Asa and Dan if you want, just for extra practice. Wouldn't hurt. All right, so here we go. And I'm going to make that nice and big here so it's full screen. All right, so for Asa, she had -12 on her first turn and then +5 on her second turn. So -12, I click that negative button, and then I'm going to do 12 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. All right, and as you can see, I have -12 there. Now, on her second turn, she had +5. So in the second addend, I'm going to go +5. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And there we go. So her first turn, -12. Her second turn, 5. So we want to know what her result is. What was her total? So remember, I want to get these together. So click that model sum, okay, which now puts it all together. And then I'm going to create 0 pairs, those additive inverses. A plus and a minus cancel each other out. All right, so they link together. All right, they link together. All right, so I click them all together until they're all there. All right, and then I am going to move those 0 pairs over. All right, so simply moving those over gets rid of them. So 0 pair, 0 pair, 0 pair, 0 pair, and 0 pair. All right, and then I want to look at what's left is -7. And there you go. So -12 plus 5 gives us a -7. So that was for Ace's score. All right. She ended up with a -7. Reset. Yes, I'm sure I want to reset it. Okay, so looking at Dan, he had -15 and then -9. So in his first model score was a -15. Things being tricky there. All right, -15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And then on his second turn, he had -9. -1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And I can check -15 and -9. Model sum. Get rid of any 0 pairs. Well, I don't have any because they're all negatives. All right, so all negatives for Dan. All right, so I can't get rid of any 0 pairs. So his answer is going to be -1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. So his answer is -24. All right, so hopefully that made sense to you. Again, what you're going to do is you're going to go onto the lesson and you're going to, I would say, model Asa and Dan like I just showed you, but then also model Joy and Kim. And here, write and simplify an expression for the model. Gives you answer choices. So which of these answer choices matches what's up here? Once you figure it out, click correct answer and it'll show you. So hopefully that helped. Again, you're going to go on to digits and you're going to work through lesson 4-2, part 3.